All right, let's go into completing the square. So if you guys have been following my channel recently, I just did a video where I worked on 28 examples of completing the square, but the examples that I did not involve the fractions. So since those examples did not involve fractions, I'm going to go ahead and do these, but I'm not going to teach it the same way. I'm going to kind of go through the way of finding b first. And I'm sorry, using b divided by 2. So first thing you're going to want to do is I'm going to find b divided by 2 and square it. So in that case, that's going to be 5 divided by 2 squared, which in this case is 25 over 4. Ah, Amir, awesome. Thank you. Got some good questions. I'll go ahead and take a look at your work shortly. So therefore I have 25 over 4. And so now that is going to be the value that's going to complete my square. So I'm going to have x squared plus 5x plus a 25 over 4 plus 3. But again, remember, we just can't randomly add a 25 over 4 inside the parentheses. We need to make sure we also subtract a 25 over 4. All right, now this is going to be factoral into a binomial squared. One thing you can always do is it's going to be x plus or minus b divided by 2 quantity squared. So since this is obviously plus, we can just say that it's going to be whatever my b divided by 2 is. So therefore I can write this as a factored form of x plus 5/2 quantity squared. Now 3 I want to write in terms of fourths. So that's going to be plus a 12 fourths minus 25 fourths. So then to write this in vertex form would be plus a 5/2 squared, and therefore this would be a negative 13 fourths. All right, the next example here, y equals x squared plus 3/2 x minus 7. So again, first thing we're going to do is take my b divided by 2 and square it. So b in this case is not that nice. Amir, I see your work. Thank you. I'll go ahead and take a look at it. I appreciate it. Oh, you're just making it neater. Okay, appreciate it. Thank you. So therefore I have a 3/2 divided by 2. Now again, dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2, right? So therefore that's really going to be the same thing as 3/4 squared, which is going to be a 9/16. Okay, so that is going to be the value that's going to complete my square. So I'm going to take that value, x squared plus 3/2 plus a 9/16, and now that is a perfect square trinomial. And again, guys, you can always check your work, right? Does 5/2 times 5/2 give me 25 fourths? Yes. Does 5/2 plus 5/2 give me 5? It does, right? But again, remember, we just can't add 9/16. We have to subtract 9/16 and then minus the 7. Okay, now again, what we're looking for here is our b. Oops, there's an x in there, isn't there? So again, this comes in the form of x plus b over 2. So y is equal to x plus, now b divided by 2 is going to be a 3/4 squared. All right, now let's make sure the 3/4 squared works, right? 3/4 plus 3/4 is 9/16. 3/4 plus 3/4 is going to be 6/4, which is going to reduce down to 3/2. And then now we need to rewrite this as negative 9 minus 16. So I'll put that over as 7. That's going to be 70. 70 plus 42, that's going to be 112. Oh, what am I doing? Let's just do 16. Am I doing my math right? I was going to multiply by 16, yeah. So just to make sure, since I have a calculator, might as well just double check I'm doing my mental math correct. Yep, 112. Okay. So then y equals x plus 3/4 squared, and therefore that's going to be a negative 121/16. So now the one thing the other student also had a question on was as far as determining if these are maximums or minimums. And again, since my a is positive, you can see this graph is going to be opening up, both of these. So therefore, these are both going to be minimum values. Now, again, where does this minimum value occur at? Well, the minimum value occurs at what we call the vertex of the parabola. And the vertex, the reason why we like this form, this x minus h quantity squared plus k is because the vertex occurs at h comma k. And you can see that these problems are not very nice because they're both with fractions, but you can see how they are h and k.